Welcome to our video on the Black Moon in Taurus the Bull on April 30th, 2022. And this is going to occur at 8:28 p.m. We're using Universal Time Coordinated and we're using Tropical Astrology. A black moon occurs when there are two new moons occurring in 1 month. There also will be a partial solar eclipse in the sign of the Bull, Taurus the Bull, and that's going to happen at 8:41 p.m. So the black moons cause people to become very introspective, very drawn into themselves. Also, the second new moon in April of 2022 brings with it inactivity and also apathy. So around that time, April 30th, 2022, next year, people might, if they seem apathetic and very drawn into themselves, very introverted or self-reflective or introspective, that's what it is. And it's in the sign of Taurus the Bull. I'm going to talk about the attributes where that will be focused because it's in Taurus. The second new moon in April 2022 brings with it also a time when you're going to need to avoid disappointment. Avoid disappointment during this dark event. Plan to use this Taurus new moon, this black moon in Taurus, to sort of ponder and reflect and think about and just mull over your relationships with your finances and also your belongings. So when this black moon occurs in April of 2022 on the 30th, you're going to want to use that time to go within, on the second moon, that's a new moon, second new moon, a black moon in April 2022, and you're going to want to ponder, you're going to want to reflect upon, go within yourself and get a really good reflection about your relationship with your money, with your finances, with your properties, with your belongings, and understand it not just intellectually, understand how you feel about it, understand your desires, understand if you've got good feelings about it, if you're eager, if you're hungry for more money or more, or like a higher paying job or a bump up in pay, or if you want to be able to acquire more property or have more things, like if you want a new guitar or you want something like that, or a new home, anything like that, you're going to want to become aware of how you feel. Do you feel any guilt? Were you told that it's not good to have a lot of money? Were you told, or were you taught that it's not good to have a lot of property? Or if you have to make sure that you're congruent. You have to make sure that your chakras are in alignment. You have to make sure that what your mind tells you want, because that's what everybody's telling you that you should be doing. You should be making money. You should be concerned about your money. You should be buying houses and selling houses and all this thing. Whatever people are telling you, you have to then that's your brain. Now what about this area? What about your gut feeling here? And your heart. So you got your brain, your heart, and your gut. There's three brains. There's even actual bundles of neurons in the heart and in the lower abdominal area that are also they're forms of a brain. Like dinosaurs had brains in their tails, that kind of thing. So make sure that these different areas are all congruent with each other, that even though your mind thinks you want so and so, say your mind says you want to make $100,000 this year. How does your heart feel about that? Do you feel like it's impossible? Do you have a feeling that if you make more than your parents do, or something, that you're going to have a problem? That even can cause physical problems, because all the physical ailments and injuries are caused by our feelings. They are. Get the book called Heal Your Body by Louise Hay. It's a Louise Hay, H.A.Y. It's a very important book. Heal Your Body. You have to get that book because it really helps you understand yourself, and keep yourself healthy. But that's also the health not only of your physical body, but of the environment you set up for yourself. So if you feel you're not allowed to have things, or you fear that if you have it, you'll have to pay more taxes, or you fear somebody will try to take it away from you, or you fear that somebody will get mad at you and think you're pretentious, or that you're a show-off, and you think they might start to not like you, or you're afraid that that you're not going to have the proper relationship with your offspring or your parents or whatever. This is the time, this April 30th, 2022, when that black moon in Taurus, when you can really get in there and know yourself. Written across the front door, and it should be written across here on the forehead too, of every mystery school with the temples, the two hemispheres of Yakim and Boaz. What you got to do is know thyself. Know thyself. Know thyself. It's the most important thing, because if you know how you're going to be, no matter how much you want to, you want to act this way, if you know something really bothers you, then you do what you got to do to make sure that you can be comfortable. You don't want to get too, people want you to get out of your comfort zone, usually because they want to sell you something or get the better of you. So stay within your comfort zone, and you can choose when and how much to challenge yourself regarding your comfort zone on your own terms, on your own good time, so that you're not doing it for somebody else's benefits, you're doing it for your own benefit. Okay? It's very important. Now, yes, I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is Readings by Rosemary Angelic Transmission. Now we're going to take a look at the planetary formula for this event, as well as the planetary archangels, and also we're going to look at the Zodiac angels involved in this black moon in the sign of Taurus the Bull next year in 2022, April. And we're going to also tell you which angels and how, with the musical notes and images and tarot cards, things like that, how you can either invoke angelic frequencies into yourself, let's call it into your being, or to invoke it, draw it into your magical circle or your sacred space, or to call upon, to evoke. That's to call upon, to get their attention, like call them on the spiritual phone. Okay, so we're going to show you how you can do that for the purpose of gathering the angelic frequencies together, which will align any magical currents one might want to utilize for this event, so that you can make sure that when you reflect on these things, that you can, and your introspection, that you can have the angelic frequencies to give you strength, to give you wisdom and help you. Some people just get a feeling, some people can hear it, some people can see, some people are clairsentient, they can feel the presence. So different people, some people they call it their intuition, some people call it their psychic abilities, whatever you want to call it for yourself, the angelic frequencies are all within you. These universal angels are, again, the macrocosm. There's a Archangel Michael and Gabriel, Uriel and Raphael in the macrocosm in the universe for everyone, the big one. Then there's the microcosm ones that are in you for you, because you're a microcosm of the macrocosm. It's a holographic reality. So you have all of those angels and demons are within. They are. All the archangels and all the devils are within. They're not out there. They're inside. We project them out, and that's how we deal with our realities and deal with our inner lessons and our inner, sometimes it's just our entertainment. Sometimes people are just entertaining themselves, and some people are learning lessons, whatever you prefer to call it, or how you prefer your perspective to look at it. But for every angel, there's going to be a demon. And if you deny that you have demons, then they can come up and bite you in the okole. So be careful. You have to know your inner demons too. You have to know the good part of you and the bad part of you. You have to understand. Now some people are very earthbound and they don't have a lot of highs and lows. Everybody's different. And those people are going to be more even. They're going to have a more even keel to them. And you might like that as a friend or as a partner or spouse, if you don't like people that are and down in their reality so much. And some people like the excitement of that, so it's just whatever you prefer. But again, know thyself and know the person you're dealing with. Get to know their sun sign, their moon sign, and it's good to also know things if you're going to have a real good, relationship with them. When you get married or something, you need to know where their Venus is, okay? And you can understand how their mind works through knowing their Mercury, and understand how they're going to react competitively or argumentatively, or how their strength is going to be to protect you, where their Mars is. Okay. Now, during this during this April 2022, April 30th, black moon in the sign of the bull, Luna, when she's in the sign of the bull, Taurus the bull, this is similar to the natural second house of money and possessions, the natural second house of money and possessions, because Aries in the first house, it's called a natural chart. It's not a natal chart. It's called a natural. The natal chart is your birth chart, but a natural chart is a chart where Aries is in the first house, okay? So it matches up with the generalities of first, second, all the way to the 12th house. So Aries in the first house, in the natural first house. So generally it's going to affect Taurus, because I'm just giving you an example of where the first house is. We're talking about Taurus because the black moon is going to be in Taurus. So that's the second house, the natural second house, the natural second house. If a person's Aries is in the first house, but a lot of people's charts, this wheel goes this wheel, goes this way, and this wheel goes this way, and this one goes this way, and this one goes this way, and it's the inner clock workings, God's great time clock, God's great timepiece, and that is, it's like wheels within wheels, like in the vision of Ezekiel, wheels within wheels. So this is how our inner Merkaba fields are how they are structured, and how you can activate your Merkaba fields. And we're going to be giving some presentations on that, because we have some sort of advanced classes on Merkaba fields and that kind of thing. So Taurus, again, it's the natural second house, and that's money and possessions. So this introspection that you're going to be doing, again, it's about your money, and that's why. Natural second house issues coming up, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. In a black moon, you can just really spend the time. It'd be best if you can spend it alone and in a quiet place, in a quiet space where you feel safe, like a safe place that they talk about. Now, since this black moon in Taurus this is a black moon, it's going to obscure the sun's luminosity. Since this second new moon in April is also just minutes away from a partial solar eclipse in Taurus, which conceals moonlight, okay? Any magical purpose intended will resonate potently with the completion of receptive magic spells, while also being efficacious for beginning plans in projective magic rituals. An eclipse being in similitude with a new moon, so the solar eclipse, the partial solar eclipse being in similitude with a new moon, also turns from oblivion into a revelation of radiance. So we've got a partial eclipse that's going to be bright and then obscured and then bright again, okay? And then we've got the new moon. So the new moon is going to be in a few days turning to brightness. So you've got this where it's the darkness comes and then it becomes bright again. So that's how you do your magic, because projective magic is when you take action. And receptive magic is when you sit back and attract things. So it's like push, projective magic, and pull, receptive magic. So when the moon is shining bright, it's push, and when the moon is becoming dark, it's leaning back. Remember, it's going to be different in the southern hemisphere. So remember that too. Okay, it's going to be different in different hemispheres. Now, the sun in Taurus. What are Taurus natives like? People with their sun in Taurus. Taurus natives are willful. They're very determined, and they're established people. The bull also possesses a great penchant for the good things in life, enjoying accumulating riches, as well as collecting many creature comforts. So they're going to feel more comfortable when they have more creature comforts. That's very important to Taurus Sun. Now, Taurus Moon. What's Taurus Moon like? Luna gives the bull resolve. Also, purpose, enthusiasm, which is always great, rowdiness, it might get kind of crazy, and a sacred space, as well as an intrinsic urge to look for and get a hold of the good things in life. So again, this is the moon in Taurus is going to even accentuate that need for a sacred space, a magical circle, or a safe place. A lot of times people that do hypnotherapy will talk about people having their comfort, or not their comfort zone, but that's more psychological. They talk about having a safe space, I believe so. So you want to have that. Taurus will accentuate that. Not only does the black moon bring that to into your being, this introspection, make you more introverted on that at that time. Everybody, it had an effect on everybody. And of course it'll affect different people more than others. But again, the fact that it's in Taurus will make that even more so, and make the sacred space need to be even more secure. Now, the planetary archangel for the sun is the Archangel Michael, the warrior and champion of God. So we've got Michael. He's not standing on a dragon here or on a devil. He's just standing on a cloud in this particular statue. And the Archangel Michael, again, he's the warrior and the champion of God. And remember, if you have a statue or a picture, an image where he's slaying a serpent or a dragon or any kind of devil, that's when he's holding down the sexual energy. He's holding down or slaughtering or killing the sexual energy. So that can break up lovers. It can make a married couple stop having attraction to each other sexually. That might be okay once a week, but you don't want to have that every day if you're married and trying to have kids. It'll destroy you. This won't do that because there's no dragon there. He's not killing anything. But in statues where he is killing something, you're going to have to be careful or be mindful. I don't like saying be careful because it's too alarmist. But be mindful that if you're trying to kill lust, that'll work if you have the Archangel Michael killing a dragon or serpent. But if you want to raise your kundalini up and activate your pineal gland, or if you want to create physical attraction with your spouse or whoever, you bring up Archangel Michael killing something, that's going to squash that sexual energy and break up the couple. So understand, right tool for the right job at the right time. I can't say that enough. Don't be sloppy and just say, oh, one size fits all. Right tool, right job, because if you don't at the right time, because if you don't do that, then you'll wonder why your life isn't working. And again, it's lazy thinking, it's lazy magic. Okay, so also for Michael, the Merkaba field for the Archangel Michael, and for fire, since Michael is the Archangel of fire and Archangel, the planet of the sun. They used to call it a planet in ancient times. The sun and the moon were called a planet. It means wanderer. This is the Merkaba field for fire, for the Archangel Michael. And this is for the celestial coordinates when you're using hexagrams in a magic circle. And these are those wheels turning, one turns one way and one turns the other way sometimes. Don't do this unless you know what you're doing. You can spin the whole thing this way, but some people teach you to spin this directions opposite. You can hurt yourself if you don't know what you're doing or you're not ready for it. So you have to, we do have some classes in that, but just know what you're doing, be mindful, because anyway, this is for fire, the Merkaba field. Mer means rotating fields of light, Ka means spirit, and Ba means soul. Soul. The planetary archangel for the moon is the Archangel Gabriel. Gabriel means God is my strength, power of God, and a messenger of God. Gabriel is one of the messengers of God. The messenger of God is Raphael, but Gabriel is a messenger of God and the power of God and the strength of God. Gabriel. archangel for all the water signs, and also for the ancient planet of the moon, Archangel Gabriel. Water and the emotion, the love of God. It's also love. Where's the strength? In the love, in the emotion. The emotion. Also, the Merkaba field for Gabriel this is the Merkaba field for the Archangel Gabriel and for all of the water signs. Again, this is the Merkaba field, and this is associated with the celestial coordinates, not the earthly coordinates. This is when you're using hexagrams rather than pentagrams. Pentagrams are for when you're doing earth magic, and the coordinates are in different places. The celestial, it's based on the zodiac and the fixed signs of the zodiac being Leo, and Taurus, and also Aquarius and Scorpio. Okay, so this is for Gabriel and for water. Now, the zodiac angel for the sign of Taurus the bull is Asmodel, whose divine tone is I have. Asmodel, whose divine tone is I have. This is the zodiac angel for Taurus, Asmodel. I have. That's a divine tone. Now, each sign has a divine tone. Libra is the only one that has we balance. I believe our Vice President, Kamala Harris, is a Libra, I believe. I read that. And so that's a we balance. That she would be very much into for everyone. It's not an I. Now, our President Biden is, I believe, a Scorpio. And Scorpio is I create. And interestingly enough, a long time ago, they had the Scorpio was a bigger constellation, and what's Libra now used to be the claws of Scorpio. So they fit together very well. President Biden being a Scorpio and Kamala Harris being a Libra fit together very well, because if he's the body of the Scorpion, and it's called Sheila, I believe is how you pronounce it, was the ancient constellation, and it's Libra now, but it used to be the claws of Scorpio. The balance scales used to be the claws of the Scorpion, and it was 60 degrees instead of 30 degrees as each are now. So that's a very dynamic duo there with Scorpio with the Libra. That's very strong. It's a very strong combination. And there's 12 signs and 12 of these divine tones. And remember, on the opposite of the divine tone is the opposite. Like if you have, like I'm Leo, I will. There's also the side of me that's I will not. So you know, there's always that other side, always. You can't have day without night. So remember that. And there's a 13th one, which I'm going to make a video about. I keep saying that, but I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to that one. I got to do that soon because I keep saying it. Okay, now the tarot card for the sun is the Sun card. You see, here's the Sun card with the solar deity, the solar boy, the sun riding on the white horse with the sun in the background and the sunflowers in the background and the solar flag with yellow and orange, because kind of the projective and receptive colors of the sun, orange and yellow. So that's for the sun. Now, the musical tone in the ancient Western array, the healing tone for the sun is C. So I'm going to play that note for you now. That's the healing tone, C, for the sun. And the tarot card for the moon or Luna is the High Priestess, which we've mentioned this card a lot when we did our series on the lunar mansions. So this is the High Priestess card for the moon, and she sits between the pillars of Joachim and Boaz, and she has the crescent moon, receptive moon at her feet, with the waters of the consciousness of God, or God consciousness, flowing over her and clothing her, and over the receptive moon she sits with the Torah scroll, Tarot and Torah combination in her lap, and she's holding it in her arm. She has a cross on her chest, and she has the triple moon, triple goddess crown upon her head with the pomegranates in the background. She sits between the pillars of Joachim and Boaz. projective and receptive pillars are the two hemispheres of the brain. Okay, so that's for the moon. That's for the moon. Remember, the words, the writing words is for the left brain, the male consciousness, and the pictures are for the female consciousness, the right brain. Remember, this side of the body is ruled by this side of the brain, and vice versa. And it's 1/2 of your vision, too. That's, yeah, that you have to always remember that. So the musical note in the ancient Western array for the moon is F. I'm going to play that for you now. This is for the moon and for the High Priestess card. Okay, that's the F note. Now, for Taurus, the tarot card for Taurus is the Hierophant, and the Hierophant is here. It's like a pope or a high priest, the Hierophant, and he sits between two pillars that are both the same. You know, they're not different colors, but they're still two pillars, and there's two of his attendants, priest being his attendant, sitting there. And also in one hand he has a staff, and in the other hand with with three kind of a cross, like a sort of an Orthodox cross, and in the other hand he's making this sign, which is, I believe, a sign of sort of I yield. I think it's a sign to yield, I think, is what it means. So one side he's got a staff, one side's more severe, so the more severe side would be where the staff is on this side, and the more yielding side would be on this side where he's yielding, which, let's see if it matches. Yeah, it matches, see? So Boaz, see, is the black pillar that receives, and Yakim is the white pillar. I got the wrong card. The white pillar that bestows, and then see, it's the same, because this is receiving, or yielding anyway, not receiving but yielding, and kind of receiving, I guess, and this side is more projective because it's got a cross or a staff, which is more projective. So even though the pillars aren't, they're both the same shade, it gives you a hint of the two sides of the pharaoh that has the whip and the kiss. The whip is, and the kiss, the carrot and the stick, and you guide yourself with that carrot and stick. That's the way a parent or a leader guides their children or their soldiers, and that's the way you guide yourself, how you discipline yourself with the pillars of pleasure and pain, the carrot and the stick. If you do this, you'll get to do that. You know, if I do this, then I'll get to have this food, and if I don't do that, I won't get to have this food, and that's the way you discipline yourself, and it works. The musical note in the ancient Western array for Taurus is E. It's E. We're going to play that for you now. It's the healing tone. And that's for Taurus. Now, the information that we're presenting to you in this video, and that's in the description box, and that we have in the document you can click on if you want to see how to spell everything, is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I've committed to memory. Thank you for joining us. Join us again next time.